Hi, I'm Mrs. Dorset back with another CaribCultura cuisine video. Today we're going to talk about the process that I follow to stew the fruit fillings for our tropical Caribbean tarts, okay? As you all know, my favorite tart is coconut tart, but I wanted to kind of show you guys because I'll be hating on pineapple tart a lot, okay? But a lot of people asking, well, what is it about pineapple tart? Like you'd be doing something different to pineapple tart? No. Pineapple lovers will love my tart. I actually consulted with several pineapple lovers to understand how they like their pineapple. Because I am not a pineapple tart lover. I will eat pineapple or fruit, but I'm not a pineapple tart lover. But my husband and my son, they love pineapple tart. They are heavy. They are team pineapple tart. You check. So because of that, I did a survey for various people that like pineapple tart, and I was just taking some of the similarities, because me, as somebody that don't really particularly like pineapple tart or like pineapple in a tart, like there's just no tart like coconut tart. I'm sorry, coconut tart is the best. But anyway, I had to kind of take their feedback too, so that I could know how to meet that customer base. And so because of that, there were some similarities that I found out. There are people that don't like their pineapple to be too sweet. And that was a similar concern that a lot of people got, that a lot of people shared. Another feedback that I got from the survey was a lot of people don't like their pineapple to be chunky. They kind of like it to be more of a paste like. And so that kind of motivated me in changing the way that I crush the pineapple, because I do everything from scratch. I do my pineapple tarts from scratch, take the pineapple and obviously take the actual pineapple fruit and make everything from scratch. And so I wanted to make sure that it was authentic, and I also wanted to make sure that I was doing my due diligence to the people who actually love pineapple tart, and make sure that I do. I actually represent for them as well. But coconut tart is still the best. Anyway, so I'm going to walk you guys through the process that I follow whenever I stew pineapple in order to make pineapple tart. And so there are a lot of people that stew their pineapple differently. They add different essences. I'm just going to keep it plain. Anyway, this is the process that I use mostly to stew all the fruit fillings. But today we're doing pineapple, just to kind of like to make the pineapple people I'm happy, because you know them pineapple people. Okay, let's get started. Because them pineapple people don't start to get antsy. So you go to the store, you pick up a nice pineapple. You come home and you cut it up into little cubes. If you don't know how to cut up a pineapple, just look on YouTube. I sure got a million videos on it. Once you have the pineapple in cubes, then put it in your favorite blender. For me, this is the NutriBullet. It's just very convenient. You just put it in and just hit it a couple times and you can crush your pineapple. That way you don't have to use any elbow grease. You just simply put it in the blender, press it down a couple times, and it automatically crushes it. That's the process that I use. Okay, I utilize the NutriBullet for most of my tart fillings because it's quick, it's convenient, and cleanup is super easy. Now, when you add it in, a lot of people might think, oh, isn't it going to be watery? Is it? Don't let the NutriBullet fool you. I mean, I'm not saying to puree it, no. I'm just saying to press it a couple times so it's crushed. As you can see, it's not very watery at all. It is crushed pineapple. A lot of the times when you buy crushed pineapple from the stores, what they do is they add pineapple juice to it. Sometimes they add like syrup. So the consistency is off. So that's why I prefer to do it naturally, because then I can control the amount of liquid that is in the actual product, and then I know that there's no additional fillers or anything like that, or they don't add any additional sugars, and then that way I can control the consistency and the taste of the pineapple. Now, once you crush the pineapple, you put it in a pan, you put it over the stove, and you put it on medium heat. As you go through this process, you have to consistently stir it. It begins to heat up and boil. Obviously, I crushed a very raw pineapple, so I'm going to see a lot of seeds. I'm going to see a lot of fiber. All I do is gently remove them as I stir. So you're going to see throughout this video, as I stir, I continue to encounter seeds from the pineapple. Now, granted, you probably could have gone through the cubes and find all the seeds, but this is just the easy way for me. Usually, when I boil and bring that fruit to a boil, the seeds just come up to the surface. super easy, and I'm going to be stirring anyway, so it's just super easy for me to just remove those seeds one at a time. That's just the process that I follow, okay? So you go through any type of fiber, any type of seed, you can just go ahead and easily remove. It's so visible because the pineapple is yellow, okay? Once you bring that pineapple to a boil, then you're going to know based on the consistency, you're going to see that pineapple starts to bubble, okay? And then at that point, you're going to know exactly when to introduce the sugar. Now, when it comes to sugar, you can use all types of sugar. I prefer to use just pure cane sugar. Um, there are different types of sugar you could use based on your dietary needs. I have also stewed pineapple with Splenda. It just depends on your preference, but the measurements are the same. For every pound of pineapple that I use, I put a half a cup of sugar. Now I start off with a half a cup because, as I mentioned before, I did a survey, and most pineapple people don't like the pineapple to be too sweet in the pineapple tart. That's just my customer base, so that is the direction that I follow. I start off with a half a pound and I just add to taste based on that particular pineapple, because depending on how ripe the pineapple is, it might be a little bit sweeter than another pineapple that is, that haven't been there that long, that haven't had a chance to develop. So depending on the natural sweeteners in the pineapple, it will dictate the amount of sweetener that I add. So I always start off with a half a cup based on every pound of pineapple. Okay. Now, once you introduce that sugar, you can instantly see that the consistency of the pineapple starts to change, because the sugar is the ingredient that when you add it to the fruit filling, it starts to turn it to that type of jelly jam consistency. And so when you initially introduce it, it like liquefies it. So you can immediately see it starts to be watery, starts to be runny. That is normal. Don't worry, because once it starts to crystallize and once it starts to boil even further, it's going to thicken up, and then it's going to turn into the consistency that we need for the actual fruit filling for inside of the top. Just continue to let it boil. All of that excess water or all of that excess liquid is going to boil away, and then what you're going to be left with is the actual jam or the jelly for inside the top. Okay, and don't worry that you might think that, oh gosh, that's not gonna be watery. What's going on? What's she doing? Don't worry, just trust the process, okay? Because as it boils, it's gonna thicken. And if you notice, anybody who kind of follows most Caribbean cuisines when it comes to our sweets and our treats, this is the same process that we use. I don't care if you're doing stew cherry, gooseberries, tamon stew, if you're doing sugar cake, dulce de coco, it's all the same process. You have the fruit, you prepare the fruit, you boil the fruit, you introduce sweeteners, and you let it do its thing, okay? So this is the process that we follow. You just have to be patient. You have to stir consistently. You don't want to stop. You want to constantly stir. You don't want it to burn, okay? Don't walk away from the stove, because at a moment's notice, it's going to burn. Now, how do you know when it's done? It's simple. The consistency or the filling is going to start thickening up, okay? Once it thickens, right before it starts to burn, just you're gonna know when it starts to burn. Right before it starts sticking to the pan, right before it starts to burn, then you pretty much are done. Now at this point, you want to make sure that from a medium stove, you're going to turn it down to low, because at this point you just want it to thicken, and then once it cools, that's when you're going to get this consistency to be able to put it into the pot. You don't want to put it in the pot when it's hot. Give it a chance to cool down to room temperature, and then you can introduce it to the tart. This is the process that I follow. Just take your time, trust the process. You got this. If you want to add in additional season or spices or whatever essences, it's completely up to you. Feel free, do what you love. I mean, if pineapple tart is your thing, you know how you like the pineapple tart. Everybody has their own recipe. Everybody has their own flavor that they add in, but this is just
A simple option that everyone can follow and anyone can do. You can see now that once I am going through the mixture, you can see the difference in the consistency and how it falls. That's kind of your indication, and you can see exactly the difference. Now at this point we are pretty much done. I mean, this is what it looks like, and I wanted to give you guys more of an actual, almost real-time view of what the process looks like, okay? Because sometimes when you're watching these cooking videos, sometimes they show you like a before and after, and you're like, well, what happened? Well, I want to give you like a step-by-step, almost real time of what occurs. I hope this video was helpful to you guys. Again, this is the same process that you would follow whether you're doing guava, whether you're doing guava berry, it's the same process. So thank you so much for watching. Again, I'm Mr. Set with CaribCultura, and this is another cuisine video. Bye-bye.